Captain Alex Mason stood on the edge of the great hall, his eyes scanning the crowd that filled the massive room. The Virelian palace was unlike anything he had ever seen. Tall columns made of shimmering crystal stretched up to the ceiling, reflecting soft light in every direction. Strange plants with glowing leaves lined the walls. The air smelled faintly of something sweet and fresh. All around, beings of many shapes and sizes moved gracefully, dressed in clothes that looked like they belonged in a dream. Alex was a human, sent from Earth as a diplomat to the Virelian Empire. The two worlds had been in tension for years. There were fears of war, misunderstandings, and mistrust. But today was supposed to be different. Today was the day of peace talks, a chance to build friendship instead of fight. The leader of the Virelian Empire, Empress Vera, sat at the far end of the hall. She was tall and regal, with deep violet skin and eyes that seemed to shine like stars. Next to her was her daughter, Princess Solara. The princess looked young but strong, with bright green eyes full of fire. She wore a gown made of shimmering silver threads that moved like water when she walked. Alex took a deep breath and stepped forward. His heart beat fast, not because he was scared, but because he understood the weight of this moment. He was here to show Earth's respect and to ask for peace. The fate of many depended on this meeting. The Virelian ambassador, a tall figure named Threx, stepped beside Alex. "Captain Mason," he said in a voice smooth and deep, "the Empress will hear your words now." Alex nodded. He moved to the center of the hall, where a raised platform waited for him. All eyes turned toward him. Silence fell. Empress Vera, Princess Solara, honored guests. Alex began, his voice clear and steady. "I come from Earth with a message of peace. We wish to build a future where our worlds can live without fear. We seek friendship, not war." There were polite murmurs among the crowd. The Virelians were known for their pride and strength. Trust was hard to earn. Before anyone could respond, a sudden explosion rocked the palace. The crystal walls trembled, and some of the glowing plants dimmed. Shouts filled the hall. A group of dark-clad figures burst into the room, moving fast and with purpose. Alex's hand went to his side, where a small energy weapon was clipped. The palace guards rushed to block the attackers, but the intruders were quick and skilled. The room filled with the sounds of struggle. Amid the chaos, a voice rang out. It was Princess Solara. "Stay calm. Guards, protect the Empress." Alex saw Empress Vera rise slowly, calm but clearly shaken. The attackers seemed to be after her. Threx shouted orders, but the situation was slipping fast. The rebels wanted to seize power and destroy the peace talks. If they succeeded, war would be certain. Alex's mind raced. He needed a way to stop this. The Virelian guards were brave, but the attackers had the advantage of surprise. Suddenly, a thought came to him. The Virelian law was strange to him, but he remembered something from his briefing. The royal family could form bonds to secure alliances. A bond of marriage was the strongest. If he could offer to marry the princess, it might force the rebels to pause. It might buy time for the guards to regroup and for talks to continue. Without hesitation, Alex raised his voice so all could hear. "Princess Solara, I offer myself to you in marriage, to unite our peoples and bring peace." The hall fell silent. The attackers froze. Princess Solara's eyes widened in shock. She stared at Alex as if he had lost his mind. You want to marry me, a human." Alex met her gaze, steady and sincere. "Yes, if it can help save your people and mine." For a long moment, no one moved. Then the leader of the attackers hissed a curse and ordered a retreat. The rebels pulled back, disappearing into the shadows of the palace. The guards quickly secured the area. The danger was over, at least for now. Princess Solara looked at Alex again, her expression unreadable. "This is madness," she said quietly, "but it might just work." Empress Vera nodded slowly. This alliance, though unexpected, may be what we need. Alex stepped down from the platform, heart pounding. He had no idea what the future held, but one thing was clear: his life had just changed forever. After the shocking proposal in a grand hall, the palace fell into a tense quiet. Captain Alex Mason followed Princess Solara and her royal guards down the shining corridors, his mind swirling with questions and doubts. What had he just done? Had he truly just offered to marry an alien princess, someone from a world so different from his own? Princess Solara walked with a steady grace, but Alex could sense her confusion. Her green eyes, sharp and curious before, now seemed full of disbelief. For a moment, she glanced at him, then looked away. "You have no idea what you are offering, human," she said quietly, her voice both stern and tired. Alex nodded. "I know it's sudden. I didn't plan this. But your people are in danger. We need to work together if we want peace." They arrived at a large chamber where the princess's advisors waited. The room was decorated with symbols of the Varelian Empire, intricate patterns woven into tapestries, and strange glowing crystals set into the walls. It felt both majestic and unfamiliar. The advisors exchanged uneasy looks when they saw Alex. One of them, a tall Varelian named Voker, spoke up. "Princess, this is not a simple matter. Our customs are old and strict. Marriage is a sacred bond, not something to be taken lightly, especially between species." Solara nodded. "I understand. But right now, our people need hope. We need something to unite us." Alex swallowed hard. "I want to learn your customs. I want to understand you and your world." Voker raised an eyebrow. "That is wise, but it will not be easy." Over the next few days, Alex remained in the palace. He was treated with cautious respect, but was clearly an outsider. The language barrier was one challenge. Though most Varelians spoke Galactic Common, the nuances of their words were often lost on him. Solara herself became his teacher. She patiently explained the meanings behind their traditions, their festivals, and their laws. Sometimes she would smile or laugh when Alex made a mistake, and sometimes she would correct him sharply. One afternoon, she took him to the palace gardens. Strange flowers with glowing petals filled the air with a sweet scent. Birds with feathers of shining silver flew from tree to tree. "This garden is a place of peace for our people," Solara said softly. "It reminds us of the balance we must keep between power and kindness." Alex looked around, feeling the calm settle inside him. "Your world is beautiful. I want to protect it." Solara smiled, but her eyes held a shadow of worry. "Protection is not simple. We face enemies who want to tear us apart." Alex knew she meant the rebels who had attacked during the ceremony. The threat was still real. Their lessons continued. Alex learned to bow correctly, to use formal greetings, and to understand the subtle body language of the Varelian court. It was strange and sometimes frustrating. One evening during a formal dinner, Alex made a serious mistake. When offered a special drink that the Varelians used in ceremonies, he accepted it eagerly and drank too much. The room fell silent. Solara's mother, Empress Vera, raised an eyebrow, then spoke calmly. "Captain Mason, that drink is sacred. It is not to be consumed lightly." Alex blushed. "I am sorry, Empress. I did not know." Solara leaned over, whispering, "It is a test of respect and patience. You will learn." Alex smiled sheepishly. "I hope so." Despite the challenges, the two began to understand each other better. Solara saw that Alex was not just a soldier or a diplomat, but someone with a kind heart and a strong will. Alex saw that beneath Solara's proud exterior was a young woman burdened by duty and fear for her people. One afternoon, as they trained in the palace courtyard, Alex asked, "Princess, what does it mean to be your people's leader?" Solara paused, catching her breath. "It means carrying the hopes of millions. It means making hard choices, even when they hurt." Alex nodded thoughtfully. I carry that too. For Earth. Their training was not only about customs, but also about combat. The Varelians were fierce warriors. They valued strength and honor. Tessalera taught Alex some of their basic moves, swift strikes and powerful blocks. Alex struggled but did not give up. You have human stubbornness, Tessalera said one day, smiling for the first time. Alex laughed. Maybe. It's what keeps me going. But the differences between them sometimes caused tension. In a meeting with the Royal Council, some members openly questioned the wisdom of the alliance. How can we trust a human? One elder asked. Their world is so small. Their history is violent. Tessalera stood tall. We cannot survive alone. Our strength lies in unity. Alex felt the weight of her words. This was bigger than him or her. It was about two worlds trying to find a way. One night, alone in his quarters, Alex looked out a window at the distant stars. He thought about the life he had left behind on Earth, the simple moments with friends and family, the quiet nights. Here, everything was different, strange, and full of uncertainty, but also full of hope. Suddenly, a soft knock came at the door. It was Tessalera. I know this is hard, she said, stepping inside. For both of us. Alex smiled. It is, but I want to try. She nodded. So do I. In that quiet moment, two very different people began to see a future, one where their worlds could join together. It would not be easy, but it was worth fighting for. And the real test was yet to come. The days passed quickly in the Varelian palace. Captain Alex Mason knew that his promise to marry Princess Tessalera was more than words. It was a bond that carried great responsibility. If he wanted to survive in this strange new world, he would have to learn the ways of the Varelian people, and fast. Early one morning, a messenger arrived to escort Alex to the training grounds. The palace guards nodded respectfully as he passed. Alex's heart beat faster. He wasn't just a diplomat anymore. He was becoming part of this alien world in ways he never expected. The training grounds were wide and open, filled with tall columns and soft glowing light. Around him, Varelian warriors practiced their moves, fast, powerful, and precise. Their armor shimmered, and their weapons looked both elegant and deadly. Standing by a large figure was Princess Tessalera herself. She was dressed in light armor, her eyes sharp and serious. Today, you begin your training, she said simply. To be my partner, you must learn our strength and honor. Alex nodded, trying to steady his nerves. Tessalera led him to a wooden practice sword. It felt light in his hands, but he knew it was no toy. Our weapons are an extension of ourselves, she said. Control your mind, and your body will follow. The first lessons were difficult. Alex's movements were slow and clumsy. He missed blocks and stumbled when trying to strike. The warriors around him watched quietly, their expressions unreadable. But Tessalera was patient. She corrected his stance, showed him how to hold the sword properly, and pushed him to try again. Her voice was firm but encouraging. Good, she said after a long session. You have heart. Alex wiped sweat from his brow. It's harder than I thought. Tessalera smiled faintly. Everything worth doing is. The training was not only about fighting. There were lessons on strategy, on understanding the importance of discipline and respect. Alex learned how the Varelians valued honor above all else. A true warrior did not fight for anger or pride, but to protect others. One day, during a break, Alex and Tessalera sat by a small fountain in the palace courtyard. The water was cool and clear, surrounded by smooth stones and tiny flowers. Why did you choose to fight for your people? Alex asked. Tessalera looked at the water, then back at him. Because they are my family. Because I want to protect their future. Alex nodded, thinking of Earth, his home, his people. I feel the same. Their time together began to build a bridge between two worlds. They talked about their hopes and fears, about what it meant to be leaders. But the challenges were growing. The rebel group that had attacked the palace was not gone. Rumors of more plans, more dangers, spread through the empire like wildfire. One evening, during a council meeting, Empress Vera spoke. The rebels grow bolder. They seek to tear us apart. Alex listened carefully as generals and advisors discussed defenses and alliances. He realized the peace was fragile, and the price of failure was too high. "We must be ready," he said quietly. Together. Solera's eyes met his. There was a new respect there, deeper than before. Training also included lessons in diplomacy and royal protocol. Alex learned how to speak in formal situations, how to address nobles and foreign leaders, and how to read the subtle signs of power in the court. One afternoon, Solera brought him to a grand library filled with ancient books and holographic records. "Knowledge is power," she said. "You must understand our history, our laws." Alex spent hours studying. The Virelian history was long and complex, full of wars, peace, betrayal, and courage. He learned about great leaders, about the rise and fall of empires, and about the hopes for a united future. But the greatest lesson was personal. To be a partner to Solera, he had to become part of her world, not just a guest. As weeks passed, Alex grew stronger and more confident. He began to move with more skill during training. He learned to speak with authority in meetings. He found ways to connect with the palace staff and guards. One day, Solera watched as Alex sparred with a young warrior. He blocked a fast strike, then moved with surprising speed to counterattack. The others nodded in approval. "You have improved," she said. "Soon, you will be ready." Alex smiled. "Thank you for your patience." Solera's expression softened. "You have more than patience. You have courage." But not everything was easy. There were moments when Alex felt out of place, moments when the weight of expectation pressed heavily on him. He missed the simplicity of earth, the smell of rain, the sound of laughter, the quiet of night. One night, alone in his quarters, Alex practiced the moves Solera had taught him. His arms ached, but he kept going. He knew the training was not just about fighting. It was about earning respect, about showing he was worthy. Suddenly, a soft knock came at his door. It was Solera. "I wanted to see how you were doing," she said. Alex put down the practiced sword and smiled. "It's harder than I imagined, but I will not give up." She stepped inside and looked around. "You have already come far." They stood quietly for a moment. "Alex," she said carefully, "there is more than training ahead. Our future depends on us." Alex nodded. "I am ready." Solera reached out and touched his arm lightly. "Together, we will face whatever comes." The bond between them was growing stronger, not just the promise of marriage, but a real partnership. Two different worlds beginning to understand each other. But outside the palace walls, danger was gathering. The rebels were planning their next move, and the fate of two empires hung in the balance. The quiet of the Virelian palace was a thin mask over the growing storm outside. Though peace talks were underway and the royal family worked hard to unite their people, the rebels were not finished. They lurked in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Captain Alex Mason felt the tension every day. He and Princess Solera had grown closer since his unexpected proposal, but the threat to their future was real and ever-present. Their training and lessons had brought them together, but trust was still fragile, especially among those who doubted a human could stand beside the princess. One morning, as dawnlight filtered through the palace windows, Alex was summoned to a private meeting with Empress Vera. The Empress looked grave as she gestured for him to sit. "Our intelligence reports tell us the rebels have gained new strength," she said quietly. "They seek to capture you and the princess. Their goal is to break the alliance and throw our empire into chaos." Alex leaned forward, his face serious. "We must act quickly. Can the palace guards handle this threat?" Empress Vera shook her head. "Not alone. We will need your help, your knowledge of human tactics and your courage." Alex nodded. I will do everything I can." Meanwhile, Asulura was preparing for her own role. She met with the royal guards and advisors, planning ways to protect the palace and its people. The princess carried herself with a calm determination, but Alex noticed a flicker of worry in her eyes. That evening, as the sun set behind the distant mountains, Alex and Solara met in the palace garden. The glowing plants and soft fountains created a peaceful space, a rare moment away from the danger closing in. "We have little time," Solara said softly. "The rebels will not wait." Alex took her hand. "We face this together. We will not let them win." Suddenly, a sharp noise broke the calm, a warning signal from the palace sentries. Both of them turned quickly, eyes searching the shadows. The rebels had come. Guards rushed to the scene, their weapons drawn. The intruders moved swiftly, shadows blending with darkness. Alex and Azulara stood side by side, ready to defend their home. The battle was fierce but brief. The rebels aimed to capture the princess, but the palace guards fought with fierce loyalty. Alex used the combat skills he had learned, blocking and striking with growing confidence. His human determination surprised the Varelian warriors, who had begun to respect his strength. In the chaos, Alex spotted a group of rebels moving toward the Empress's chambers. Without hesitation, he ran to intercept them. "Leave now or face me," he shouted, standing firm. The rebels hesitated, then retreated into the darkness. The palace was safe, for now. After the attack, the palace was on high alert. Everyone knew the danger had not passed. Solara and Alex spent the night discussing their next move. They agreed that more than defense was needed. They had to find the rebel leaders and stop the uprising before it grew too strong. The next day, Alex met with Virelian spies and scouts. Using both human technology and Virelian knowledge, they gathered information about the rebels' hideouts and plans. One night, a secret meeting was held deep within the palace. Solara, Alex, and trusted advisors planned a mission to strike at the heart of the rebellion. "You will lead the team," Solara told Alex. "Your knowledge of human tactics is our advantage." Alex felt the weight of the responsibility, but nodded. "I won't let you down." The team was small but skilled. Virelian warriors, trained spies, and Alex worked together, combining their strengths. They traveled through dark forests and rocky hills, following clues and avoiding traps set by the rebels. Finally, they'd reached a hidden cave where the rebel leaders met. The battle was dangerous. The rebels fought fiercely to protect their cause. But Alex's strategy and the team's skill won the day. The rebel leaders were captured, and their plans uncovered. Returning to the palace, Alex and Solara knew the fight was not over. There would always be those who sought power through fear and violence. But for the first time, they felt hope. Together, they had taken a stand, not just for themselves, but for the future of their worlds. Back in the palace, as peace slowly returned, Solara looked at Alex with new respect. "You have proven yourself," she said quietly, "not just as a warrior, but as a partner." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known before. "We are stronger together," he replied. And so, with the shadows of rebellion pushed back, the path ahead seemed clearer. But the true test of their alliance and their hearts was still to come. The sun rose softly over the Virelian palace, casting long shadows on the crystal walls. The quiet morning was a brief moment of peace after the recent battle against the rebels. Captain Alex Mason stood in the grand library, surrounded by ancient books and glowing holograms. His fingers traced the strange symbols on the pages, trying to understand the history and secrets of this alien world. Princess Solara entered quietly, her footsteps soft on the polished floor. She looked tired but determined. "Have you found anything useful?" she asked. Alex nodded. "There is more here than I expected. Your people's history is full of courage and challenges, but I also found something surprising." Solara raised her eyebrows. "What is it?" Alex pointed to a holographic display showing a small device. This is human technology. It was hidden in your archives. Long ago, someone brought it here from Earth. Solara stared at the device, confused. Why would human technology be here? And why was it hidden? That's the question, Alex said. If this technology is real, it could change everything. It might help us defend the Empire or even bring new hope. The princess looked thoughtful. We must be careful. Such power can be dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands. Together, they studied the device, learning how it worked and what it could do. It was a tool for communication and protection, something that could boost their defenses and connect their worlds in ways no one had imagined. While Alex worked with the royal engineers to understand the device, Lara met with her closest advisors. She shared her concerns about the rebels and the future of the Empire. One evening, during a private meeting, an elder named Voker revealed a secret he had kept for years. "There is more to our bloodline than most know," he said quietly. "The royal family carries a gift, an ability to sense danger and guide our people through difficult times." Lara listened carefully. "Is this why we have survived so long?" Voker nodded. "It is both a blessing and a burden, but it makes our bond stronger." Alex looked at Solara with new respect. "Your strength is more than physical. It is in your spirit." The princess smiled, a rare warmth in her eyes. "And your courage gives me hope." As they shared these discoveries, a new plan began to take shape. With the hidden technology and the royal gift, they could build a stronger future if they worked together. But not everyone in the Empire was ready for change. Some nobles feared the growing alliance between a human and a Virelian princess. Rumors spread, and whispers of betrayal filled the palace halls. One night, Alex overheard a secret conversation between two council members. They doubted the human's loyalty and questioned Solara's judgment. Feeling the weight of distrust, Alex saw out the princess. "We must show them that together we are stronger." Solara agreed. "Our people need to see our unity." They decided to host a grand ceremony to reveal the alliance and the new technology. It would be a chance to bring their worlds closer and to prove their commitment to peace. The preparations were intense. The palace buzzed with excitement and nervous energy. Craftsmen worked to create displays, and guards practiced new defenses using the technology. Finally, the day arrived. The Great Hall was filled with guests from all over the Empire and from Earth. Empress Vera opened the ceremony with a speech about hope and unity. Then, Alex stepped forward with Solara by his side. Together, they demonstrated the new device, showing how it could protect their people and connect their worlds. The crowd watched in awe as holographic images danced in the air, showing peaceful cities and strong alliances. For a moment, the palace seemed to glow with a new light, one of hope and promise. After the ceremony, Solara and Alex stood together, feeling the weight of their journey and the promise of the future. "We have much to do," Alex said, "but I believe we can succeed." Solara nodded. "Together, we will build a new era." Yet, beneath the celebration, shadows still lingered. The rebels were not defeated, and greater challenges awaited. But with secrets revealed and trust growing, the future looked brighter than ever. The morning sun rose over the Virelian Empire, casting a warm glow on the palace and the city beyond. The peace that had seemed so close was now threatened again. The rebels, though weakened, were gathering strength in hidden places. Their goal was clear: to destroy the alliance between humans and Virelians and return the Empire to chaos. Captain Alex Mason stood on a balcony overlooking the city. Beside him, Princess Solara prepared for the battle ahead. Both knew this fight was not just about land or power. It was about the future of their people and the hope they had built together. "Are you ready?" Solara asked, her voice steady but soft. Alex nodded. "I am. We fight not just as soldiers, but as friends." The palace was alive with activity. Warriors and diplomats worked side by side. The new human technology was in place, helping to strengthen defenses and communication. The bond between the two species was clear to all. As the day wore on, scouts reported the rebel forces moving closer. The rebels were no longer just small bands. They had gathered a sizable army, armed and ready. The battle began near the outskirts of the city. The rebels struck hard, hoping to break through the defenses quickly. Alex and Azulara led the combined forces of humans and Varelians. The warriors moved with purpose, their weapons shining in the sunlight. Alex's human tactics, combined with the Varelian strength and skill, created a powerful force. The fighting was fierce. Arrows flew through the air, energy blasts lit the sky, and warriors clashed with swords and shields. Alex found himself in the thick of the battle, blocking a strike from a rebel soldier and countering with a swift move. Nearby, Shalera commanded her troops with calm authority. Her presence inspired the fighters, reminding them of what they were defending. During a moment of calm, Alex and Solara met near a broken wall. "We must push forward," Alex said. "If we let them regroup, it could be the end." Solara nodded. "Then we take the fight to them." With renewed determination, they led a charge into the heart of the rebel forces. The combined human and Varelian strength was overwhelming. The rebels began to fall back, their numbers shrinking. But the battle was not without cost. Many brave warriors on both sides were injured or lost. Alex felt the weight of each life, as if it were his own. In the midst of the fight, a rebel leader appeared, a fierce warrior who challenged Alex directly. The two faced each other, weapons drawn. "You think you can change the Empire with your alliance?" The rebel spat. "You will fail." Alex met the challenge with steady eyes. "We fight for a future where all can live in peace." The duel was intense, but Alex's training and determination won. The rebel leader fell, and the remaining rebels began to retreat. The battle was over. As the dust settled, the city's people came out to see their leaders. They saw a human and a Varelian standing side by side, victorious. The victory was more than military. It was a symbol, a sign that two very different worlds could work together and overcome even the darkest threats. Back in the palace, Empress Vera praised the bravery of both Alex and Azulara. "You have shown us what true strength is," she said. "Not just power, but unity." Alex looked at Azulara and smiled. "We did this together." Solara returned the smile. "Together, we are stronger." But the battle was a reminder that peace required constant effort. The scars of war were deep, and the road ahead was still full of challenges. Still, hope burned bright in their hearts. The alliance between humans and Varelians was no longer just a promise. It was a reality. And with that, a new chapter began. The battle was over, and peace had returned to the Varelian Empire. The palace, once filled with tension and fear, now echoed with hope and quiet joy. Captain Alex Mason and Princess Solara stood together on the balcony overlooking the city, watching the sunrise paint the sky with soft colors. Their journey had been long and difficult. From an unexpected proposal in a grand hall to fierce battles against rebels, they had faced dangers and doubts. But through it all, they had grown, not just as leaders, but as partners. Alex looked at Solara and smiled. "I never imagined my life would lead me here." Solara returned the smile, her eyes shining with warmth. "Neither did I, but I am glad it did." The palace was preparing for the official ceremony to celebrate the new alliance between Earth and the Varelian Empire. The event would mark the formal recognition of their bond, not only as future spouses, but as symbols of unity for their people. In the grand hall, guests from across the galaxy gathered. Ambassadors, warriors, and citizens came to witness the beginning of a new era. The walls were decorated with banners blending Earth's blue and green with the shimmering silver and violet of the Varelians. Empress Vera stood proudly, ready to open the ceremony. She looked at Alex and Solara with pride. "Today we celebrate more than a marriage," she said. "We celebrate hope, courage, and the power of unity. Alex took Solera's hand as they stepped forward. The room was silent, every eye watching. "Princess Solera," the Empress began, "do you accept Captain Alex Mason as your partner, your equal, and your spouse?" Solera nodded, her voice steady. "I do." "And Captain Mason," the Empress continued, "do you accept Princess Solera as your partner, your equal, and your spouse?" Alex smiled. "I do." The ceremony was simple but full of meaning. Their hands were joined with a glowing band that symbolized their bond, a promise to stand together through all challenges. As the ceremony ended, cheers filled the hall. The crowd celebrated not only their union, but the promise of peace between their worlds. Later, in a quiet moment, Alex and Solera stood together in the palace garden. The soft glow of the plants surrounded them, and the stars twinkled above. "We have come far," Alex said softly. Solera nodded. "And there is still much to do. But together, we can face anything." Alex looked at her with admiration. "You have taught me so much, about strength, honor, and hope." Solera smiled. "And you have shown me the power of courage and trust." Their journey was only beginning. The alliance between Earth and the Virelian Empire would face many challenges, but their bond was a beacon of light for both their people. In the weeks that followed, Alex and Solera worked side by side. They traveled across the empire, meeting with leaders and citizens, building trust and friendship. The new technology, combined with their united leadership, brought progress and peace. Trade routes opened, cultural exchanges blossomed, and the scars of rebellion slowly healed. One evening, as they watched the sunset from a peaceful hill, Alex turned to Solera. "Will you stay with me, not just as a princess, but as a partner in all things?" Solera took his hand and smiled. "Always." And so, a new chapter began, not just for Alex and Solera, but for two worlds learning to walk together. The story of their alliance became a legend, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, hope, courage, and love could unite the stars.